now to the Baltimore Ravens, of course, the team that was, I guess, the best team in the NFL again, at least in the regular season, once again in the year, and then
That's what they do.
Once again went to the postseason, and once again it's not Lamar Jackson's fault, and once again he was the MVP, and it's just the same shit with these guys.
Well, he was.
He was the MVP.
He should have been.
But he should have been.
He should have been. Yeah.
I don't know what to do with this team, honestly. Even like going into this offseason, I'm like, well, you're not going to change quarterback. You're not going to change running back. I don't know if more receivers doesn't seem to help. Like, it doesn't seem like Lamar Jackson is a guy who's going to maximize very many wide receivers. Like, the guys he have are probably just good enough for him because he's not really going to do much with them. And I know he throws a lot of touchdowns. I know he throws for a lot of yards. But name the last great wide receiver who's played with multi MVP Lamar Jackson.
Zay Flowers is a Pro Bowl wide receiver. Put some respect on Zay Flowers' name.
Yeah, great.
Come on now.
So, anyways, let's go into this here. I think they need to, first of all, keep Brendan Stevens in-house there. The secondary was atrocious until they moved Kyle Hamilton back deep, playing safety, playing more of a center field role. And that kind of changed everything for them. It kind of put all the different players where they're supposed to go. Darius Robinson, is that the other safety? He kind of was a game changer as well. And so I think you found something late in the year with this secondary. And I don't know why you would want to move on from that. I think you keep Brendan Stevens in-house, good, young, athletic, not very big, but good starting cornerback. And I think there's going to be some conversations here about Humphreys, if not this year, then next. Moving forward, because you do have Nate Wiggins in the building as well. All right, moving on. As usual, there's offensive line problems here. You're losing McCarry and you're losing Ronnie Stanley. Just massive losses on the offensive line that was already had its shaky moments. And so you're going to have to shore that up, and you don't have a lot of money to do it with. So I'm going to talk about the O-line just kind of all as a whole here. I think Nate Herbig coming over in division. You've seen him. I think he's a good player, just had a hard time staying healthy. That's kind of where you are. You're going to have to take a chance on some of these guys, but at least if Nate Herbig can stay healthy, he's a solid starting guard for them. And then Kelvin Beachum coming over from the Cardinals, longtime starter there. I think he can play either tackles, maybe even kick into guard a little bit. Seems pretty positionally diverse, although the high end is not that great. I think he has, obviously starting a lot of starter experience, and you throw him in the mix because I think you're going to draft a tackle as well. And Donovan Jackson there at the end of the first round. And so this whole offensive line, I think you're going to have to attack it with more players instead of really great players. And I think this is a way to do it. Draft your tackle, maybe draft like a swing tackle, Beachum if Donovan Jackson isn't ready, and then get Nate Herbig to kind of hopefully solidify there in the middle of the line. Do you think that's enough of an O-line? Because there's a pretty good pass rushers in the division.
Yeah, and they're in a tough spot. I'm blanking on the guy. One of their guards got pulled over for a DUI, so that's not great. McCarty might be outpriced for him. People want those guards or linemen who can play everywhere. I mean, it's part of his appeal. So I think he's gone. Ronnie Stanley.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Sorry. Would you cut? Because what the topic really is? Well, Mark Andrews is expensive. You have what's his name? Isaiah Likely there. If it meant keeping McCarry or Stanley, would you cut Andrews?
I feel like taking away Mark Andrews would be a bigger impact than Stanley.
Same. That's how.
But I could be wrong because that's a left tackle. I mean, it's hard to find left tackles. But Mark Andrews, despite the drop, is still a very good tight end. And Lamar Jackson is number one option for his MVP run, all his MVP years. So
right.
It's tough. They're in a tough spot. This is a team that's not fun to mock for because they have so much money and they have such little money and such big needs. So I would stick with Andrews, maybe renegotiate and try to get a Stanley on a team friendly deal. But I don't know.
I think Stanley's going to have a market out there. Not a lot of great tackles. I think he gets signed like as soon as free agency opens. And the Ravens are just, from what I remember, I don't think they're a team that really lets a lot of players, if they plan on keeping them, get to free agency. I think they would rather sign them sooner than wait. Because free agency usually is just you're going to overpay for anyone you get there. You're going to pay a little more during free agency. But all right, let's move on now. we'll see. I don't know. We'll see what happens at the O-line. I think you definitely need to take a tackle or a guard in the first round, preferably a tackle. That's all I'll say about this. Brent Urban, depth on the D line. You don't have a lot of money. I did explore other guys and other, of these 3-technique DNs that you can possibly put here. But I think Brent Urban, you know what he is. He's still only 33, and he provides good depth. I think you re-sign him, plug him back in. He's cheap. You know what it is. Keep him there in town. And then a guy that I kind of commonly mock to contenders that have safety needs, if it's not Justin Simmons, then for me it's Jordan Poyer. Also very cheap, good locker room guy, still playing at a decent level. Bring him in-house as well because I think if you don't cut Mark Andrews, it might mean Marcus Williams is gone, another safety, and so maybe some safety depth there as well.
Yeah, they like playing the 3 safety formations too. So Poyer can play strong safety. He's good. He's good around the line of scrimmage. So yeah, it'll allow Hamilton to stay back center field while Poyer's up there. Yeah, Poyer's a very good mature signing, and the Ravens are a very mature franchise. This makes sense.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I have for the Ravens. There's not a lot of big moves. I think Brandon Stevens is probably your biggest move, and then nailing that first round draft pick as far as like needle movers. But you do have a great roster already. That's kind of, you do have a great roster. And so just keeping your roster together, you're a Super Bowl contender again. You're just going to need Lamar Jackson and that offense to make the plays when you need to make the plays. And hopefully, pass the Bills and the Chiefs.
Who you drafting here?
Donovan Jackson down there at the bottom.
Okay.
Tackle.
Yeah. Okay.
Out of Ohio State.
I don't think you said it. I was trying to make
sure.
Oh,
no, I said it when I talked about the whole offensive line.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? It's going to be interesting because last year Rosengarten, they nailed that right tackle spot, but obviously the hardest spot to nail is left tackle. So I think they find a way for Stanley to stay. There's no
really.
The Ravens are too good of they're too well run of a franchise to let a player like that go, a premier position. Not his prime, but still a very good player. But this is once upon a time they've let other players walk in their later years. So looking forward to seeing what happens.
Ronnie Stanley's interesting because he at one time was, one of the best left tackles in the game, but I think the injuries maybe have soured for him. I'm looking at Twitter right now to see what Twitter's saying about Stanley, and everything I'm seeing is that he's gonna leave. But
Patriot.
Obviously, Twitter. Yeah, I've seen Patriots. I've seen Commanders. I think he's huge for the Commanders.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he's great, but I think he's better than most. You can plug him out there and be pretty happy with it. Maybe the Chiefs. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.